Well, good evening, everyone. Guess what time it is? It's Thursday. It's 6 p.m. And hi, my name is Paul, and
And hello, my name is Bev. Oh, this is the Paul and Bev show.
yeah, not Bev and Paul, that's right, because
That's right.
we have a Lyme disease health condition workshop tonight. The fourth Thursday of every month, we do a health condition, and tonight we are going to speak about Lyme's disease. And we usually have a speaker, uh,
We do.
but
Yes.
what happened today, Bev? What'd you find
Well,
out?
Jane Merrifield Beecher was to be our speaker. And she had, there's a family emergency and she just could not make it. But I want to say, she has been, her credentials were pretty impressive with Lyme disease, right? Because she has been dealing with it for 30 years.
Right.
And has I have had the pleasure of being her practitioner at some point, and she always shared with me that BioTouch was the one thing that really kept her body going and supported her on all those different ways. So we will miss her tonight, but she said she will be with us at some point. Yeah.
She is awesome. Yeah, she's been here a long time. She's gone through a lot of practitioners because
I
she's been
know.
here so long. And
Yep.
we were really excited to have her. We want to wish her and her family just the most healing that we can think about.
Right.
And what a time to have a crisis in the midst of a crisis. Oh,
Right.
double crisis. Sheesh.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
it looks like you're stuck with Bev and myself, and that's why she put her glasses on, so you could at least get a little different take on her.
Right. And when I read and I can see what I'm doing.
So we're gonna go through the workbook, and we're going to talk about what is Lyme's disease. Now, if you know of anything about Lyme disease, if you have had it, if you have a family member who you're working with, put some comments in there. If you have a question, put a comment in there. If you have a comment, put a comment in there.
Yeah.
Whatever you have, put it in the comment section so we can see what's going on out there in viewer land while we take you through the Lyme disease health condition workshop. So, the first thing we want to do is share with you the workbooks that we do. So, what we create from this manual that you're looking at here is a workbook. So, we take the 17 sets of points, and once a month, we take three, maybe four sets of points to address a specific condition. We were always told, oh, you say it's simple, but I got 17 sets of points to remember. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's true. It's not very simple. So we've pared it down. And also at the end of this workshop, you can download the manual the little workbook. And if you go to justtouch.com/workbook, you can see it there on your screen. You'll be able to download the manual for free, the workbook for free that we're going to work with. And we'll talk a little more about that later. So the first thing we want to do in the workbook is we always have "What is the Condition?" written by Deborah Schildhouse, and she does a
Right.
lot of research about it. And we have a blog every month, and she creates the first page of the workbook. So we're going to show you that part of the workbook here. Let me take the time, and we're going to read it while you can look at it too. So take it away, Bev.
Okay. Lyme disease. Lyme disease is the most common insect borne disease in the US, with approximately 20,000 new cases reported annually. The disease takes its name from Lyme, Connecticut, where it was first described and studied in 1975. It is caused by Borrelia burgdorferi and other closely related species of bacteria.
Hmm.
The bacteria is transmitted to animals and humans through the bite of an infected black-legged or deer tick. Immature ticks are very tiny and can be difficult to see, which can increase the possibility of undetected tick exposures.
Within the first few days to weeks of the infection, a rash may develop. It is generally red and circular. Sometimes it has a bullseye pattern. Though it's a major sign of acute Lyme disease, many infected people don't get the rash. During this early stage, symptoms may include aches, pains, fever, chills, headache, and swollen glands. Like other short-term infections, this may last a few weeks. It's easier to diagnose and treat at this stage.
Chronic Lyme disease, also called late Lyme, is much different. Signs of illness may appear gradually over time or may have never entirely subsided with earlier treatment. In some cases, major physical or emotional stress brings out the disease. Symptoms may include joint pain, joint swelling, heart palpitations, dizziness, severe fatigue, and neurological problems such as numbness and tingling in the hands, feet, foggy thinking, and short-term memory loss. These may become more debilitating over time.
BioTouch has been shown to help relieve symptoms of Lyme disease. While not a substitute for standard medical care, BioTouch is an effective complement to medical protocols. Family members and friends can learn to help others feel better using BioTouch without being concerned about negative side effects. This workbook includes the basic sets of points that you will need to address Lyme disease. It is best used with the entire training manual, which is available on our website. And again, the information presented in this workbook is for educational purposes, never not get medical attention.
Right.
So again, if you've just tuned in, leave us comments about your experiences with Lyme disease, since our speaker couldn't show up this evening, and or comments that you might have, or questions that you might have, as we begin to take you through how to work with Lyme disease. And for a lot of you out there who've never even heard of BioTouch, if you've just come here because you want help with Lyme disease, we're going to sort of give a whole synopsis of what is BioTouch also. And so let's see. So the next thing we want to do with that, let me make sure there's no questions so far. We have Sally with us and somebody else who's saying, oh, Kylie is here with us. And so we'll take you back to the workbook, and Bev's going to share with you, okay, so what is BioTouch? For those of you who've never even heard about it, because this will be posted later, and hopefully with people who have Lyme disease, they want to participate in what we're calling an integrative, holistic, functional medical approach to taking care of Lyme disease. And all those symptoms you heard about, we can address. So the first thing we're going to even want to know about, what is BioTouch and why do we even do it? So take it away, Bev.
Right. Yes. So there's we've listed 4 basic bullets on this page 6 that we're looking at. And first of all, BioTouch is by description one person touching another person lightly on the skin with the first 2 fingers of the hand. And in that very light butterfly touch, when you're practicing, like Paul said, there's 17 sets of points that can address everything. So we want to start by saying, here it says, BioTouch is easy to learn, even children. And at this time, during this challenging time when the families are at home, I just want to say about that this is not just for moms and dads to learn. This is something that the kids, the children in the household can also learn at the same time and practice with anybody else. They are as totally effective. So, and they get BioTouch. You know, I'm often reminded we are to be as children. That's what BioTouch lets us do. It's, you know, that trusting. So yes, children, effective. Everybody's effective immediately. That's
So
number one.
and you know, I even think about Jane with her Lyme disease. You know, children love to help their parents. They usually feel helpless. And with
Yeah.
all those kinds of symptoms that we just read about Lyme disease, the headaches and the fogginess and the aches and the pains, and imagine a little child sitting there just helpless. And what a wonderful thing to be able to know that you can ask them to help you. We were actually talking about that last week, Bev, about how wonderful it is for mom or dad to say, I need you to help me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I
Talk
know.
about
What?
empowering for a child.
It is. It
Yes.
is. Oh, I love it. And it works. We've seen it many times. So the second bullet, a biotouch is a compliment. Paul already kind of hit on this. Um, that that's yeah, that's one of the most amazing things about biotouch is that it is something unto itself, and yet it is integrative. It's this whole intermixing with everything else that's out there. So whatever, if you're a practitioner of anything, whether it's allopathic or alternative, complementary, integrative, holistic, biotouch can only enhance whatever you're doing. It's just the most amazing um, compliment and gift in that regard. So I always encourage, whatever you're doing, it's really okay to add biotouch to it. It's just an amazing thing to be able to do as a professional and at home.
Yeah.
So
And
whatever else you're using at home, just with somebody you're working with, use biotouch. It's crazy good.
right, and it has, as I remember Kenna saying, no contraindications. It doesn't get in the way of, it doesn't have any side effects.
Right.
It doesn't, if you're taking a medication, it can only enhance, the ability for the body to assimilate the medication without the side effects. So, it's not going to get in the way of whatever else you're doing.
Right.
You don't have to be afraid. Oh my God, can I do this? You're not ingesting anything. You're not manipulating anything. It's just this light touch that Bev talked about that we're doing.
Yeah.
So,
I was just saying it's totally uninvasive.
right.
That's the beauty of it. On so many levels, it's totally uninvasive. So
Well, we'll get into
um,
that later.
yeah, it's so gentle and it's so loving. This is why everybody feels so cared for when they have somebody do biotouch with them. Biotouch has no levels of ability. This is part of why this amazing technique, we can say it's meant for everyone. Anyone who wants to learn biotouch, anyone who wants to practice it, is going to be effective and effective immediately. You're not going to have to go through. In fact, remember Kai was mentioning that on the show the other day about all the hierarchies and
Right.
all of this. And that definitely gets in the way sometimes of people learning things because it takes so long. So biotouch is immediate. I've said this many, many times. I can teach someone, let's say the next set in what, 1 minute? But they can turn around immediately and do it on me and be totally effective.
Right.
I That just blows me away. That's the power of biotouch. You have it already. Those right there. It's already there. That's all you need.
And that's a hard thing for people in the healing world to understand. We've been trained to believe so often that there's levels or there's professionals or I got to go to somebody who's an expert at it.
Right.
And we're just, biotouch presentation is about what Bev was just talking about, the equality, the no levels here, that you can do it immediately and be effective. And I mean, I've been doing this for 31 years and I don't have a problem with anybody who wants to do biotouch on me. I can't get people's stuff. They can't give me their bad
Right.
juju and all that.
Right.
Those are nice concepts, but in biotouch, you know, you're a human being, you got it.
That's interesting because I've had a couple of students recently asked me about that. Ooh, what do you suggest? Should we clear the space? Should we light candles? Should we have? And I thought, oh, wow, what a great question. I'm like, you can do anything you want or nothing.
Right.
The BioTouch, because it's so integrative and so holistic, it lets you do whatever you want. The important thing is that it brings you into relationship with another human being, and bodies get better and people feel loved. Wow. You can burn a candle. Go ahead. You can play amazing music, but
Or you could do like Norman and Carol had soaps playing on the
that's right.
TV and smoke all over the house. No, there was
That's
no incense or tingling cymbals. It was,
yep.
there was white bread and red meat there.
There
So
you go.
that's where I really learned there were no levels.
Yeah, that's the beauty. That's the beauty. It just is. BioTouch is. Just do it and you will be amazed. Oh, just do it. The fourth bullet is, yeah, it requires no special preparation, belief system, your state of mind. That's what happens when something is love.
Right.
It is totally unconditional. So when you're practicing BioTouch with another person, just use those first two fingers. Just touch lightly on the skin, and the body will take care of it. It's really waiting for that. That's
It's
the
funny.
beauty.
I'm reminded of a guy once that tried to put me into a corner about healing and how, well, you got to do this and you got to do that, and I listened to him, and I was like, okay, I get it. That's what you believe, and that's how you do your technique. And I said, but we don't have to do that because it's all about love. And he said an interesting thing to me. He said, well, when you get to that part of it, nothing matters. I was like, what?
Whoa, dude. Did you just hear what I said? That's great.
So yeah, BioTouch is about just putting love into action. And when you do that, it's not about preparing yourself. People always ask me, well, what do you think about when you're doing BioTouch? And I'm like,
Oh, you
you
don't want
don't
to
want
go
to
there.
know.
Well, you don't have to try with BioTouch. There's
Right.
no
That's a good one.
trying.
Yes.
You don't have to try. You just do it. You
Yeah.
don't have to try. I'm going to try to make you feel better. I'm going to try to see if I can do. There's none of that. It breaks down all those ego barriers. So
Yeah.
take it away, Paul. You're
All
good at
right.
it. Yep.
So those are some basic bullets about what is BioTouch. If you want to learn more about the history, if you want to learn about, how Norman came upon it, or it's an ancient Egyptian healing technique, whatever you want, it's on our website, justtouch.com. But that's the basic things that you need to know to do it, to make it simple, as we're
Yep.
going to address how to work with the symptoms of Lyme disease. And again, if you've just tuned in with us and you have any comments or questions, just put a little comment in there. This is being taped, so we'll be able to show it to people afterwards. So how do we go right into practicing BioTouch? Basically, as you see here, it has some really simple steps to do. The first one is wash your hands before every session. And, it's just, right now, washing your hands, they tell you 20 seconds. Is that what it
Oh,
is? One,
yeah.
1,000, two. So however you wash your hands, if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you just have some goop to put on there, whatever, but we always wash our hands. BioTouch as a technique is one person touching another, okay? So that's really what BioTouch is about. It's about building relationship. It's really easy to do self-healing and focus on our own mind and close our eyes and meditate and those kinds of things, but sometimes that becomes a real isolating factor. And we're on this planet to be in relationship. That's why we're excited about sharing BioTouch with you. It puts you in relationship. Boom. Especially because, as you see with the greeting. So it's one person touching another. Can you do the points on yourself, people ask? It doesn't hurt.
Right.
Can you do it long distance? Can you think of doing it on somebody? It can't hurt. Many times it helps. If I have a sinus headache, some people have worked on themselves. But the technique as BioTouch is one person touching another. How you use the points, that's up to you afterwards.
Right.
We always begin the session with the greeting. We'll share with you in a minute here. We always use the two fingers of each hand. Okay? There is a couple of sets where we'll actually use the palm, but most of it is just two fingers, the index and middle finger of each hand, and it's touching lightly on the skin like a butterfly. Very lightly. If you're at home right now, just try that. Take two fingers. If somebody's next to you, just touch them on the neck. Here, it looks like somebody's touching me on the neck, right?
Ooh, yeah.
I got it. Oh, wait. That was good.
Ooh, like this Keystone Cops.
Right. Lightly on the skin, okay? 6 to 8 seconds is all you need to do. And it's better to do 6 to 8 seconds and then release and then maybe come and do it again for 6 to 8 seconds than having to touch for 1-2 minutes, okay? So
Right.
6 to 8 seconds. Besides, my mind can't handle more than 6 to 8 seconds.
I know. Thank you.
I got a monkey mind.
Right.
And BioTouch can be practiced anywhere, as we were talking earlier. It doesn't take a special space. If you have a special space, that's fine, but it doesn't need it. You can do it out on the streets. You know, I've done it at parties where people are having allergic reactions. I've done it in an emergency coming upon an accident. We had a dear friend who danced in a bar, and her thing she did for tips was BioTouch. She just would work on people's headaches and neck aches, and
Yeah.
she took it right into the bar. I mean, so you can do it at the store. You can, wherever there's a need, you can do BioTouch. And it's not always about, as you see as we touch on the skin, it's not always about having to remove the clothing, because you can go under a shirt or around the buttons. There's certain things that you might have to remove pieces of clothing, but overall, it's just about getting onto the skin and being able to do these points. And of course, it talks a little later that you can have one or two people work with a recipient, as we call them. Mm-hmm. So that is how we practice it. Is there any questions from anybody out there? I don't see any, but we do have a few people online watching. So hi out there. Okay. Pass this on. We're talking about how to work with Lyme disease, the symptoms of Lyme disease. Again, BioTouch is not a cure for any disease, but we do know, and that's been clinically proven, BioTouch can address and relieve symptoms of any disease. That has been proven. And so if you don't know much about BioTouch, go to our website, justtouch.com, and get more information about it. Today, we're just dealing specifically with Lyme disease and the few sets of points needed. Again, if you want to get that workbook that we're going to go over here, there it is right there, justtouch.com/workbook. All right, anything else about the technique itself?
I think we've pretty much covered it. I do want to say that at this time, I really think that BioTouch is designed for crisis. Whatever that is, because that can be emotional, mental, physical, loneliness, depression,
right,
and then all of the other diseases that the body can hold. But in a crisis situation, if you have nothing else until, we're always encouraging to work with the emergency, the medical, but until they get there, you are doing something. Right. You are giving aid to somebody. You're not just standing there, freaking out.
So with Lyme disease, those kinds of symptoms that might pop up or flare up in a crisis, you're going to have some points to do. If you want to know more about how to deal with BioTouch in a crisis in a page we have on our website, you're going to have to tune in Monday morning at 10 a.m. Bev and I are going to talk a lot more about that. Yeah. But tonight we're just about Lyme disease. It's funny, we have John Muno in here from Connecticut. And he says, hey, hi, Bev and Paul. John's a longtime practitioner, instructor.
Hey, John was my instructor.
There you go. And he says, lots of Lyme disease in Connecticut.
Hey, that's where it started.
I know, it's where it started.
Wow.
We read about that in the beginning, John. So you're the home of Lyme disease.
Right.
Oh, that's funny in a sense, and not in another, because the disease can be very debilitating.
Oh.
And again, as with Jane, who's had it for 30 years, again, the Lyme disease never went away and her flare-ups still happened, but BioTouch helps her maintain a high quality of life.
Oh, yeah.
That's the key,
Mm-hmm.
is at least a high quality of life.
Right.
Okay, let's start to teach some of the sets of points that are needed to learn
Okay.
in order to address it. And the first one that we want to do is share with you the greeting. And the greeting is always done before you do anything else. It's the one set that is only done with one hand, and that's your dominant hand. And we're going to show it, and then we can talk a little bit about it. So let me turn this here. Whoops, I've got my buttons wrong here. There. All right, so here is the greeting, folks.
The greeting is always performed at the beginning of each session. It's the only set that uses one hand and the only set that indicates which hand to use. The greeting is performed with the dominant hand. If you are right-handed, use your right hand. If you are left-handed, use your left hand. The greeting is made by touching at point 1, which is in the fleshy area just below the bottom of the breastbone or sternum. Hold this point for 6 to 8 seconds. Then, with the same 2 fingers, touch point 2 on the back. To find point 2, look for the big bone at the base of the neck. From here, move 1 to 1.5 inches to the left. This is point 2. Hold this point for 6 to 8 seconds. More than one associate may work with a recipient provided that all of the associates perform the greeting. If the associate or the recipient leaves the session, or if someone who hasn't done the greeting touches either the recipient or the associate, the greeting must be reestablished. Then the session may proceed from where it was interrupted.
Wowee, there you go, folks. There is the greeting with the family. We're
Yeah.
just talking about it. Even
Right.
kids can do BioTouch.
It speaks volumes,
It
doesn't it?
does, and just how it just lowers your stress level just by watching that video.
Yeah.
So that's the greeting. You always do the greeting before you do anything else. Okay?
Right.
So I hope you practice that and followed along. Again, there'll be a replay of this, or you can download the workbook at justtouch.com/workbook. So the greeting. So now that you've done that, we move to another set of points, and we're just going to give you the points that are most important and then least important. So if you can just do one set of points, then you can take off and do that, or you can mix and match them as you have the time for. So the next set that we want to do is the metabolism set, okay? And we'll talk a little more about it after we show it.
The metabolism set can be used to help the body assimilate what it needs and eliminate what it doesn't need. The metabolism set has 2 steps. Step 1 involves touching points in matching fire along the large muscles on the front of the neck. Points 1 and 1 are located above the collarbone in the soft indentations on both sides of the notch at the top of the breastbone. Points 2 and 2 are halfway up the neck on the front of the large muscles. Points 3 and 3 are at the top of the neck on the front of the large muscles. The second step involves holding a point on the front of the body and touching points next to the spine on the back. Hold point X on the front of the body is on a line directly between where the nipples would be on a youth and is 1 to 2 inches to the left of the breastbone. Another way to find X is 1/3 of the way up the breastbone from greeting point 1 and 1 to 2 inches to the left of the breastbone. The points on the back are located next to the spine, forming a rectangle around the breakover point. The breakover point is where the bottom of the rib cage joins the spine and can be found by imagining a line directly through the body from greeting point 1. To perform step 2, find hold point X on the front of the body and touch points 1 through 4 on the back. Point 1 is approximately 1 to 2 inches up from the breakover point on the left spine muscle. Point 2 is directly across from point 1 on the right spine muscle. Point 3 is 2 to 3 inches below the breakover point on the right spine muscle. Point 4 is used to address blood sugar problems and is added to the other metabolism points when needed. It is located across from point 3 on the left spine muscle.
So there you have it. And just so you can see, there's a picture of the drawings that are in the manual. So you can see points 1, 2, and 3 in that matching fire in the front of the neck. Usually the X in the manual is always a point that stays stationary while the other points touch a series of points. So you saw how she held in the front and touched 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the back. So all of that is defined. It's also in the manual. Let me show it to you here. Is in words too. So you can see here there are, whoops, that's the wrong way. The words right there. So it's very easy to learn the technique. Both in the manual, there's words, there's pictures, and there's a video. There's a link on each page to the videos that you're viewing right now. Anything else, Bev, with that?
No, I'm just always reminded how amazing the metabolism set. Just, if you could just do the gradient and the metabolism, you're going to help the body to begin some kind of a process to deal with, what's going on. It's a great set.
Yeah, I mean, it just helps the body get rid of everything it doesn't need and assimilate what it needs, like it said. I mean, yep.
Wonderful.
So you want to do that for sure when you're dealing with the symptoms of Lyme disease. And another one that we want to share is the infection. It's actually the infection, allergy, and poison. We're going to show all of them because there might be all kinds of situations. It might be a poison, especially if you can get the set right when there was the tick bite and get that poison out of there. But there might be allergic reaction symptoms that you're getting. So we're going to show all 3 of them. There are 3 distinct sets of points. And let me just show you here. This is what it's going to look like right here. And we're going to show you the video with that right now.
The infection, allergy, and poison sets are 3 separate sets of points. They all share the same hold point, which is the same as greeting point 1, located in the fleshy area just below the base of the breastbone. As with all sets of points, these may be touched repeatedly. Infections of any kind anywhere in the body may be addressed by holding X and with the other hand touching point 1, which is at the base of the large muscle on the right side of the neck and slightly above and behind metabolism point 1. Allergies or allergic reactions may be addressed by holding X and with the other hand touching point 2, which is on the right side of the neck directly behind metabolism point 3 on the top of the large muscle. To address poisoning within the body, hold X and with the other hand alternately touch point 1 and point 2.
I always like that, to see
Pretty simple.
Yeah, and the elders doing it on the younger generation.
Yeah.
It just again shows that there's no levels here, and everybody's effective regardless of your age. So as you can see, there's the points in the drawing. It's very simple the way we share to do BioTouch, and there's the point 2. There's point 1 and 2. It always has a synopsis in it right there in the bottom. There's the click here to watch the video. And then there's always the words on how we describe where the points are. And the points are all done in a language that you can understand. It's not,
Yeah.
it's
I, I was always appreciative of that when I was learning it, because I realized that anybody can find a point on any body when you use that language.
right.
And that's the beauty of it. It's not a language that you have to have a special gift for. It's a language of the body. So it's amazing. You can tell somebody over the telephone how to work on somebody. I've
Exactly.
done
Yes.
it.
And the other nice part of it is you don't have to understand the language of the person you're talking to by just doing the points.
Right. Or no anatomy.
Right. And there, it's,
Yeah.
I'm always reminded there's one thing, you talk about the oneness of humanity. There's one thing, the Dalai Lama always said it. You want to see the oneness of humanity? Look at bodies.
We all have one.
We all have one and they're
Yep.
all the same. And
Right.
so we've tried to explain how to do BioTouch based on this common language of the body, bumps and notches and dents. So
Yep.
we hope
Yep.
is as easy for you as it is for us and joyous to teach it. And we're going to just scroll down a little bit here because we're going to then come to stress. It also works with anxiety and shingles. The interesting thing is, if you come to some of our Monday shows, we can show you the stress set. On Monday, we're going to talk a lot about that. Those are Mondays with Bev and Paul. So let's teach you how to do the stress set now.
The stress set may be used to address any manifestation of physical, emotional, or mental stress, as well as anxiety and shingles. Hold at X, which is in the fleshy area just below the bottom of the breastbone. It is the same as greeting point 1. Then with the other hand touch points 1 and 2, which are the same points as in the heart set. These points are found by imagining a line running from the notch at the top of the breastbone to a place on the left breast where the nipple would be on a youth. Divide this imaginary line into thirds.
I can't not show this research piece here. BioTouch has been shown to break the stress cycle, and it's been shown to regulate our cortisol release and to build our immune system. And that was shown with the research right here by Kenneth Stevenson when she did clinical studies with saliva testing, blood spot testing, and you see all the stressors in our life. And of course, Lyme disease would be one of those other stressors, all the symptoms of Lyme disease in there. And by dealing even just with Lyme disease, it creates a chronic stress in our life. So not only do you have Lyme disease and all the other stressors in our life, which creates cortisol dysregulation and immune dysregulation, and then creates a bunch of other problems in our life besides mood disorders and infections and things like that. But the research showed that when you put BioTouch into that chronic stress cycle, you can improve the circadian rhythms, the cortisol release, and raise what's called interleukin 12 levels, which improves the immune system responses. So, I just always have to show that. Whoops, we're getting all ahead of ourselves. I always have to show that, it just,
I know.
if nothing else, if all BioTouch does is reduce stress, and that little set that we just showed can really help with that. Here it is here again. Whoops, let's take that.
I want to make mention too that BioTouch is the perfect. It's not just in a crisis; it's a perfect maintenance program. And Kenneth Stevenson, at the end of that whole research that she did with BioTouch, she clearly made a statement that if we were to use 1 time a week BioTouch in our lives, we would totally increase the quality of our health in our lives, just once a week. So, what I'm coming back to this all the time. Aren't we worth that?
Right.
Isn't somebody I love worth that? This is it's given to us to use with each other, share with each other.
So I think you can see, folks, whether you're dealing with the symptoms of Lyme disease, it's the symptoms of everything. It's almost like there are only so many symptoms the body can have. And these few sets of points can address all of that and reduce our stress and our anxiety and help us have a healthy aging life. I don't care if you're 15, you're aging every day. You live on the planet. Every TikTok takes you. And so start this young. Start building the
Yeah.
immune system when you're in your teen years. Don't wait
Right.
until you're in your elder years, like some of
Right.
us or some of you. Not me, right?
Begin now.
Yeah, begin now. Hey, there's a new phrase for us.
Yeah.
So there's one other set of points that is a little more challenging to do. Here's the words here. And it's called how to work with addressing the extremities. So a lot of what we read about Lyme disease is it gave us joint problems and stiffness and the disease
Tingling
of tingling, right,
mm-hmm.
and locked up certain areas of our body. And so we have a whole, the sets of points in the manual address 75% of areas of the body. BioTouch is area specific. But then there's that whole, what we call local working enhancements on how to work very specific problems on people. And so we're going to show you how we talk about how to address those extremities, and then we'll build on that a little bit so you can understand it.
Enhancements in local work may be performed anywhere extra attention is needed due to disease, pain, infection, rashes, broken bones, cuts, or unusual growths. For example, local work could be performed in an area where there is an unusual growth such as a mole, cyst,
When in doubt, just touch.
I was just thinking, you can't do it. There's no right or wrong with BioTouch. Like when you're doing the extra work, just go to that local area that you want to give more loving attention to, and just do it. Do
And
what what you want to do. Just touch.
that's really how simple it is. Just loving
Yeah.
attention. Just taking, remember, the two fingers of each hand and lightly touching where that area of that person you're working with, that recipient, is having the most difficulty and the most
Right.
pain. So those are the basic set of points. Again, if you're interested in downloading for free the workbook on Lyme disease, go to justtouch.com/workbook, and you can download just that one. If you'd like to become a member, you can go to our website, justtouch.com, and become a member, and you can download, I don't know, we have over 30 different workbooks. You can also, when you become a member, you get the whole manual. It's all sets of points, all the descriptions, links to the video, so you always have that toolbox ready to go. If you have questions, you can always call us. I mean, you just go to the website. Email is office@justtouch.com. Um, we're just trying to make it accessible to everybody out there
Yeah.
in viewer land.
That's a good point. BioTouch is very accessible, and we're trying to make that even more so for you, so you can just start using it in your lives.
Right. We don't know how else we can bring it to you folks. So,
right.
It's a gift for humanity, and our only job is to give that gift back. It's our birthright to be healthy, happy, and loved, and BioTouch is a way to reclaim that birthright. So, Bev, we did a pretty good job.
Hey, that was great. Thanks for inviting me to come on tonight. I'm so sorry Jane couldn't be with us, but
yeah, and I think we've also figured out another way to be able to, where you and I can both host these things as we go forward. So our next workshop is on, what is it on?
Gosh.
Hormone imbalances.
Oh.
Yes, and I can't remember who the folks are that is coming for that one, but we'll send you an email, and it'll be posted on our website. It's the fourth Thursday of May that we'll be doing that, and we will also be doing that live streaming only, not teaching. We are not going to open up our center here in Tucson until the earliest will be June 1st, and we will figure out how we're going to be able to serve the community as we move into this pandemic phase of society.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bev, thank you. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you. Yes, thank all of you for being with us tonight. Thanks, Paul.
Yes, that was fun. So again, if you have Lyme disease and you know anybody that has it, pass this on to them. We'll send out a link to this and an email for those who missed it. And thank you all. Have a nice evening.
Have a great evening.